5605. That's 734-5605.
WGBR.
One more thing, let us not forget, since we're talking about IPOs, these are initial public offerings. You know what IPO is when a privately held company goes public. They do it for a number of reasons. Chief among them is to raise money, to raise capital. And generally what happens in an IPO is they start out with a lot of excitement. The price, whatever it's determined to be, is usually undervalued despite the best efforts of those to value the stock. If you get in the IPO, you generally hold the stock for a while and you will make out like a bandit. Snapple is a good example. The Snapple initial public offering price was $20 a share. It got up to the equivalent, they'd split a couple times, it got up to the equivalent of $116 a share in a year. Nobody called me about that. And I'm not complaining. I had to hustle and scratch and scrape to get a meager number of shares on this. But guess who else had a lot of Snapple shares? Tom Foley. Let us not forget, Tom Foley has made out like a... Tom Foley made something like $80,000 in initial public offerings. He had a broker who did it for him. And the story was that Foley was not that intricately involved in each deal, but that's what you get a broker for, to watch these things for you, which is all fine. Do not misunderstand. The bottom line is these people do it too. These people are out there trying to get every deal and every corner they can cut, while sitting there sanctimoniously in Washington saying, we've got to raise taxes on the rich because they've cheated. They're the ones doing it just as much as anybody else is. They're a bunch of sanctimonious hypocrites. And the reason they are is because they know that most people would be offended if they found out they're doing this stuff. They want to relate to as many average middle-class Americans as they can, so they present themselves as the same kind of people. And they do all this stuff in private, rather than honestly being visible the way they live their lives. Washington Crossing, Pennsylvania is up next. Tom, hi, welcome to the program.
Stay frosted mega dittos from Washington Crossing, Rush.
Thank you, sir.
To the point, Jim Leach on Sunday said that the Republicans were aware 6 weeks before the election that there might be an RTC referral over Whitewater.
Criminal referral, right?
Criminal referral. Yeah. Now, Mr. Leach said that it was a great idea that the Republicans didn't pursue that. It was a very gentlemanly thing to do. I say, what the heck are they doing? They should have brought that to the attention of we as public deserve to know about that.
There's a lot of stuff the Republicans had that they sat on. From what I'm told, cultural type things, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
And this. But this is how Jim Leach has crafted his image. Don't be too critical of Congressman Leach, however, in this regard. Because while Leach sits there and says on NBC's Meet the Press, hey, I hope not too much is made of this Stephanopoulos stuff, he's insulating himself from attack while he continues to pursue this thing like a bulldog. So he's smart like a fox here. He just knows what's important and what isn't.
That strategy I understand. I just have a feeling that if they jumped all over, because the Times had it in March of '92, then the Lyons report was bogus, and then it comes out 6 weeks before the election.
I don't think it would have mattered. That's what the American people didn't want to hear. All this stuff goes to character, and I don't know. You may be right. I mean, if enough noise had been made, they might have been able to shape some opinion. Thanks for the call, Tom. Appreciate it.
Here at Goldsboro's very own 1150 WGBR, we love to make you a winner in many different ways. However, in order for us to reward as many listeners as possible, we ask that you assist us in a few simple ways. Please, no repeat winners within 30 days, only one winner per household every 30 days, and all prizes must be picked up within 2 weeks. Other stipulations may apply on certain contests. We invite you to keep listening for your chance to win on Goldsboro's very own 1150 WGBR, and good luck.
I remember being on duty. They brought in this teenager. He'd been in an accident, lost a lot of blood, multiple lacerations, internal...
At the hospital, they let me stay with Robbie. And you know what I thought about? When we were little and Robbie got the big kids to let me play in their basketball game? and made me cry.
I don't know if my blood saved Robbie, but I give blood every few months, so it could have been mine.
When was the last time you gave blood? The National Blood Resource Education Program.
WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
From ABC News, I'm Gary Nunn. It is more than a brouhaha. San Antonio City Council is wrestling with the issue of whether to go along with Miller Brewing's offer of more than $1 million to get its name on the city's proposed minor league ballpark. The company wants the park named Miller Lite Stadium for the next 10 years. Psychiatrist Dr. Harry Croft, who counsels alcoholics and addicts, is concerned.
This stadium will be named, if this goes through, Miller Lite Stadium, so that every time our baseball team is mentioned in terms of a home game, it will also be promoting an alcohol product.
Croft complains such actions will not help in the fight against underage drinking, says San Antonio will wind up spending more money than it gets from Miller in alcohol abuse programs over the next 10 years, implying that drinking is supported as part of attending a game. Some top Clinton administration officials called reporters together at the White House today to talk about the status of crime prevention. Attorney General Janet Reno says getting more cops on the streets is the centerpiece of pending anti-crime legislation.
One aspect of our crime bill that I think is so critically important is the provision for the 100,000 police officers for community policing.
The House intends to take up the Clinton crime bill in mid-April. The Senate's already passed a crime package. Specifics have been made public by the administration on ways to speed up processing of thousands of requests every year by people seeking asylum. Doris Meisner, Commissioner of the Immigration and Naturalization Service, says the system must be updated and streamlined.
The problem we have faced in recent years is that people with no legitimate claim to asylum are applying in record numbers. Some brought by smugglers, some using fake documents, and some overstaying the visas granted to them as visitors.
An estimated 370,000 cases now pending. Meisner estimates it could hit 500,000 by the end of the year. In Miami and New York, it can take more than a year to get asylum cases heard by immigration judges. You're listening to ABC News.
Sears Brand Central is having an all on sale, but it's only for 4 days.
That's all?
That's all. Through Wednesday, save 10% on all washers, all dryers, all dishwashers, all sewing machines, all microwaves, all floor cleaners, and all vacuums.
You call that all?
That's not all.
That's not all?
No, not at all.
All TVs?
All TVs are $10 to $200 off.
All camcorders?
All $30 to $60 off. All 4-head VCRs, $10 to $50 off.
Wow.
Off regular prices, of course.
Of course.
You'll find it all.
All?
All. At Sears Brand Central, but only through Wednesday.
That's all?
That's all.
Hey, Easter Bunny, I'd like to put in my order for Easter. First, I want a chubby bunny from Hallmark, the chocolate bunny that pulls a hand-woven rickshaw filled with milk chocolate eggs. It's specially priced at just $4.50. Also, I'd like Hallmark's egg-shaped floral tin, the one tied with a pretty ribbon and filled with Crown Chocolatier chocolates. It's specially priced at $4.95. Supplies are limited, so call 1-800-HALLMARK for the Gold Crown store nearest you. I'd also like a new minivan. Thank you.
The judge in Alexandria, Virginia rules a Colombian bank account may be used to pay for the care of the 5-year-old son of CIA official Aldrich Ames and his wife Rosario, both of whom are awaiting trial on charges that they spied for Russia. The story from Washington and ABC's John Bascom.
Earlier this month, a federal judge put a lock on all the bank accounts of accused spy Aldrich Ames. The government says he has stashed away about $2 million in banks in Switzerland, Italy, and Colombia, money paid for espionage. But defense attorneys say the Ames's little boy is being punished too, and he hasn't done anything. The judge agreed to free up $500 a month out of a Colombian bank account to pay for food, clothing, and medicine for the boy. The Ameses have only a few more days to comply with a court order to bring all the money overseas back to the U.S. John Bascom, ABC News, Washington.
Cops in one Dutch town are trying to put the legal bite on someone who has stolen 2 sets of dentures and tried to swipe at least 7 more. Pattern is similar in each case. Victim gets phone calls, asked for the stories about denture discomfort, suggesting the replacement choppers be returned for examination. Favorite film of moviegoers is D2 The Mighty Ducks, which coined $10.2 million last week. Naked Gun, 33 1/3. The Final Insult is second, The Paper third. By the way, the Academy Awards did give a box office lift to Schindler's List, Philadelphia, and The Piano. Wall Street, Dow Jones Industrials down 33.39 at 37.28. This is ABC News.
You don't know what they are. You don't know where they're from. But right now, they happen to be all over your plants.
Ugh, and they sure are hungry.
Which is why you need Ortho-Diazinon Plus. It easily gets rid of over 100 outdoor insects.
Take that. whatever you are.
Ortho-diazinon plus for beautiful bug-free shrubs, trees, and lawns.
Ah, yes. Another attack thwarted, another azalea saved.
Ortho, you're working too hard without us.
For the ABC Information Network, I'm Gary Nunn.
If you want to tell someone you love that you're thinking of them on that special day, anniversary, birthday, holiday, you could send them flowers. But in a couple of days, they'll be pushing up daisies. Hey, what about candies? That's perfect. Wrong. Fattening. It's just the relationship you want to grow. Oh, hey, here's an idea. If you really want to impress your significant other, give them some bunny to love. A cute, cuddly, plush pink bunny, that is. Each has your own special message to your loved one attached. Plus, it comes in a special gift box. And they're only $14.95 plus tax and a $5 shipping and handling charge. Overnight delivery options are available, too. To order a cute, cuddly bunny, call Bailey Marketing at 1-800-972-7233. That's 1-800-972-7233 for the bunny that tells that special someone just how special they are.
WGBR.
Here, folks, and I'm running away from her. Went to dinner last night with a little niece. She's throwing spaghetti and pats of butter on me. Sees me today and starts acting like she's going to throw microphones and stuff at me. Anyway, welcome back. Rush Limbaugh on the EIB Network on the air for more broadcast excellence.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America Held Hostage. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Thank you, Johnny Donovan. An accurate count of the days of the raw deal. Here we go. Day 434 today for the poor and the middle class. Day 453 for the rich and the dead. There are 1,032 days of trades, deals, and denials remaining in the Clinton administration. But I've got so much stuff here, and I got to get started. We don't know. Jimmy Johnson, is he in or out? We got two conflicting stories coming out of Dallas. An inside Cowboys reporter claims that Johnson's going to leave. A TV station in Dallas is reporting that the two men, Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson, have agreed to terms on a new contract for Johnson. So we don't know. A press conference this afternoon will be held wherein all of these burning questions will be answered. I got this fax today. Now, I don't, once again, know where this is from. But let me, I don't know the name of the newspaper. Maybe I do. Hang on. No, I don't. You know, I have warned you people about this several times. I've cajoled, begged, asked. And I'm reaching the point now of demanding. If you people are going to send me a fax, would you please include the newspaper and the date? The date is and the newspaper still, I do not, let's see if it's, maybe it says here in the note. Well, I don't know. It's obviously a Florida. Wait, here's Miami Herald. It's a Miami Herald. 22-year-old mayoral hopeful raises questions in West Miami. A 22-year-old fan of Rush Limbaugh making his first run for public office in West Miami also is raising a few questions. One, why did he register to vote in Florida on the same day he applied to run for mayor? Has he lived in West Miami for the required year? Why does he have five code violations in his house? And why does he want to be elected mayor April 12th? The last question is the easiest to answer. Here's the quote. I'm a huge supporter of Rush Limbaugh, and basically by listening to his show, I've become a true servant of society. He, meaning me, is my icon. Guy wants to run for mayor. So now they're trying to come up with all kinds of reasons why he can't. That basically what the story is about. His name is Anthony David. D-A-V-I-D-E. Maybe it's Divide, but I doubt that he pronounces it that way. Anthony David. And we got a little note here. His note says, Russia, I'm faxing this article to you so you can see what happens to conservatives when they are open about their views on politics. Hey, Anthony, I know all about that. Since this article, I have been sued by the county. The city is trying to have me removed from the ballot, all because I am a true conservative. Anthony, if your name is pronounced David, change the pronunciation. Change it to Divide. We got a campaign slogan for you. Divide and conquer. Telling you, Anthony, do it. Even if you don't really run, go ahead and get some bumper stickers made up, get some signs, billboards, or whatever, and pronounce it Divide and conquer. Other items in the news. We now know which dogs are the smartest and which dogs are the stupidest. Smartest dog is the Border Collie. Next is the Poodle. Next, the German Shepherd. Number 4, the Golden Retriever. Number 5, a Doberman Pinscher. Number 6, a Sheltie, Shetland Sheepdog. Then the Labrador Retriever is number 7. The Papillon is number 8. The Rottweiler is number 9. The Australia Cattle Dog is number 10. That's the top 10 smartest dogs in the world. You want the bottom 10? You want the dumbest 10 dogs? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. This is disappointing. The 10th dumbest dog in the world is the Basset Hound. My favorite dog was a Basset Hound. When I was growing up, Jason was my dog. Then a tie here between the Mastiff and the Beagle. Beagles are supposedly stupid. Number 126. The 8th dumbest dog in the world, a Pekingese. The 7th dumbest dog, the Bloodhound. The 6th dumbest dog, or the 5th dumbest, I'm sorry, is the Borzoi. The 5th dumbest dog is the Chow Chow. 3rd dumbest dog is the Bulldog. 2nd dumbest dog is something I never heard of, the Basenji or Basenji, B-A-S-E-N-J-I. How do you pronounce that, Basenji? And the dumbest dog in the world is the Afghan Hound. Great for apartment decoration, is what it's called. Now, this is not going to sit well with the PC crowd. How about Jocelyn Elders? Every chow, a planned and wanted chow. And of course, the chow is one of the dumbest dogs in the world. This is an insult to Jocelyn Elders. Every chow, a planned and wanted chow. Then, of course, the Chihuahua, number 119. The Chihuahua is a pretty stupid dog. They are. They are just those. They're hyperkinetic. They're like, you know, I think I saw the dumbest animals in the world the other night. I was channel surfing around. I was watching. You cannot turn on TV anymore without watching a show where animals eat each other. That's all those animal shows are. This particular show was about animals who take over the bodies of other animals to gestate their young. This show showed a wasp, a female wasp laying an egg inside a ladybug. And then with time-lapse photography, they showed the wasp larvae slowly destroy from inside out the ladybug. Then this. Now this I couldn't believe. Had these two little warblers, some kind of bird warblers. And these birds had a little nest built, and I guess it was the mother bird inside the nest with all you could see was her head sticking out. You know how birds are herky-jerky in their movements with their necks and heads. This is when you were doing that imitation of the Chihuahua. This is what reminded me of it. I mean, these look like the stupidest birds in the world anyway. Just how could you possibly see anything? Their heads are moving all the time. And they just look like they live in perpetual fear of somebody attacking them. They're just so stupid. Then the camera caught sight of this giant, compared to these warblers, this giant cuckoo bird. And the narrator said, the cuckoo bird will soon invade the nest of the warbler. And watch what happens then. Well, it happened, thanks to time-lapse. You know, these stay out there for years to get these little 30-second clips. So what happens is these two idiot warblers leave the nest to go get some, whatever they're doing, maybe go catch a movie or something. And while they're gone, this cuckoo went to their nest, got 2 eggs out of it, and dropped them out of the tree on the ground and laid its own egg in there. It leaves. The warblers come back. Of course, they don't know the difference because they're idiots. The female warbler continues to sit on the cuckoo's egg until it hatches. And in 3 days, the cuckoo chick is already twice as big as the warbler. But the warbler is such a fool, it doesn't even know it. And you can just see what's coming. Pretty soon, the warbler chick, or the cuckoo chick, is going to get big enough to just totally eat the warblers. And it happens. Meanwhile, the warblers are out there feeding this thing without any, and the narrator saying, and of course, a warbler has been totally fooled. Because how would it know? Animals, you know, they're just, they don't think. That's right. I mean, you would think that the male warbler would see this and say to the female warbler, where the hell were you when I was out the other day? How the hell did you end up with a kid this big? But no, they just continue to give birth in these big, I mean, it was amazing. You see how, I don't know if stupid is the right word for it, but it's just, and they had other examples of this too, that were absolutely, but like, here's one for you. This is a great one. Now this is not an example of one animal taking over another. This was a segment on how these animals camouflage, some animals able to camouflage themselves and escape predators. And one of them was the African tree frog. The African tree frog is just sitting in the tree, croaking and minding its own business. And then they cut to the green snake. And the green snake is laying in wait, strategizing its attack. The narrator says, watch what happens next. Well, here comes the snake attacking. The next thing you know, the African tree frog has jumped safely to the ground, and the snake's mouth is glued shut because the African tree frog secretes a substance that glues together the jaws of its predators. So the snake is trying to separate its mouth. It can't because it's glued shut. And the snake eventually suffocates. You see it just plop down out of the tree. And I say, why not? That would be a great thing to give like somebody like Anita Hill. All right. Now let's go back to these dumbest dog lists. We got the Chihuahua here at number 119. We got to get, this is going to offend our Mexican brothers, especially in the era of NAFTA. This Chihuahua is a Mexican dog. And here's what this number 122, the Shih Tzu. Caught ya. The Shih Tzu, supposedly a stupid dog. It's 2 words. That's an insult to our Asian friends. And the Afghan Hound, well, that's a slap in the face to our Muslim friends. And this is a very, very, very tumultuous time there. Anyway, it's a funny list. Now, my second favorite dog, the Cairn Terrier. I used to have 2 of those. Lost them in a divorce, but I paid dog support for a year. Dogs' names were Little Guy and BB. They're number 49 out of 132 on Smartest Dogs. So right there in the middle. Perfect. Perfect, right in the middle. Just dumb enough to make them do tricks that they can entertain you, make you think they're smart, and just dumb enough to not know what the hell you're saying when you're criticizing them, making jokes about them, laughing at them, or whatever. Jeb Stewart, the Yorkshire Terrier is pretty high. The Yorkshire Terrier is at number 32. The Yorkie is number 32. A lot of, like the English Springer Spaniel is number 13. The Belgian Sheepdog is 15. The Collie is 17. The Flat-Coated Retriever is number 20. And the Brittany Spaniel, Cocker Spaniel, 23 and 24. The Weimaraner is 25. We can go through all this. Now let's see. The test was culturally biased. How so? Explain them. All the foreign dogs seem to be dumber. No, I don't. I note the foreign dogs are pretty smart. The French Poodle, the German Shepherd, the Doberman Pinscher. You got German dogs here, the Rottweiler. I mean, they're all in the top 10. The Europeans score better. Also, you think, from Mr. Snerdley's perspective as an African-American, it's a culturally biased test. White European dogs scored higher on the entire... got it. Let's see, where is it? We got to take a break here, but... wait till you hear... Wait Wait till you hear who can now serve on Arkansas juries. When we come back.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hey, do you remember when you were a little kid, your mom used to say, don't leave the house without your orange juice? Or anytime you got a sniffle or a cough, hey, drink some orange juice. You remember that? I do, and once again, our moms were right. Mothers always are. Large glass of orange juice should be the first of 5 daily servings of fruits and vegetables. Now, there are loads of reasons to drink orange juice, especially orange juice from Florida. The first is that it tastes great, undeniable. Here's another reason. You can take control of your own health by practicing certain preventive measures. With orange juice, just as Mom said, you get a significant source of vitamin C, potassium, folic acid, all that good stuff, and it's a great source of fiber, too. I'm not telling you to increase your Florida orange juice consumption just because the government's FDA lists so many benefits. I'm asking you to because you should. I'm telling you to drink more Florida orange juice because your mom said so. Your mom is right. Love you, Mom.
Do you know there are only 44 sounds in the English language? 44. And when you learn these 44 sounds called phonics, you can read and spell almost everything. That's why Hooked on Phonics is so successful. We've set these 44 sounds to music, making learning to read simple and fun. So get hooked on phonics and take the mystery out of learning to read. Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
He was just lying there on the grassy knoll with a gun on his side. There was no blood. There was no blood at all.
Oliver Stone presents Vince Foster, the movie. Who was Vince Foster? Did he really commit suicide? What was his connection with Whitewater? What was his relationship with the First Lady? What was in those missing White House files? Oliver Stone, Hollywood's first investigative director, answers these questions, plus reveals the real story behind the scandal. Vince Foster, the movie. Starring Eva Perón as Hillary Clinton, Jim Nabors as Bill Clinton, Macaulay Culkin as Steffi Stephanopoulos. Janet Reno plays herself, with a special appearance by Lennon's Body as Vince Foster. Vince Foster, the film, coming soon to a theater near you.
There was no blood at all.
There's nothing like the convenience of a telephone calling card. But when you're using one in a busy public place, be careful. A thief can steal your telephone calling card number. But what you may not realize is that a thief doesn't have to take your calling card to steal it. He can read your number right off the phone while you punch it in and make thousands of dollars worth of calls that will show up on your bill. But there are things you can do to protect yourself. Cover the buttons while punching in your calling card numbers. And when you must give the operator your number, keep your voice low.
Yes, operator. My card number is 203-555.
Because you never know who might be listening in. Don't leave your telephone calling card where other people can see it. And whenever possible, use the magnetic card reading phones. Use your telephone calling card carefully. Don't give your number to strangers. And if you think it's been stolen, contact the phone company that issued your calling card. A message from the Toll Fraud Prevention Committee and AT&T.
Welcome back, my good friends. Rush Limbaugh serving humanity on the EIB Network. Joel Santisteban has walked in. You have a dog, Joel? You don't? Your dog died? What kind of dog did you have, though? Oh, Black Lab, number 7 on the all-time dog intelligence chart. Of course, I know a guy who's got a Labrador, and his must have missed out when they were passing out dog brains because it jumps out second-story windows and is afraid of toast. Go figure. What'd your dog die? Did it just die of natural causes, old age? No. Here is... Oh. Listen to this headline. Listen to this. Blind, deaf, mentally disabled allowed on juries. You read further. People who have mental disabilities can now serve on Arkansas juries, although the legal profession isn't quite sure how that'll work. The new state law signed March 4th by Governor Jim Guy Tucker allows people who are blind, deaf, or mentally disabled to serve as jurors. It amended a law that disqualified potential jurors who were visually or hearing impaired or who were mentally retarded or insane. Pulaski County Circuit Chancery. Now that's the height of insensitivity. I was just asked, how's a blind guy supposed to see the evidence? What difference does evidence make in the American courtroom anymore? It's blind justice, that's right, Joel. Blind justice is blind. You don't need to be able to see the evidence. The only thing I'd be worried about is if I'm a Menendez, I want to make sure that all the women can see, because that seems to be the largest determinant in whether or not I'm going to be guilty or acquitted. Now, the timing of this is very interesting, because there's a lot of trials going on in Arkansas, and soon others, I'm sure, will spring up. Pulaski County Circuit Chancery Judge Mary McGowan said she approves of the new law, but added that it doesn't define mental disability, leaving questions about who qualifies to serve on juries. They haven't defined mental disability. They haven't even defined it. And oh, that means they're going to have to go to court just to define mental disability. There's going to be litigation here before they even get to seating juries. State Senator Mike Beebe, Democrat Searcy, this is where my mother was born, a lawyer and sponsor of the new legislation, explained the new law this way. I haven't read this. Let's read it together and see if we learn anything. This is Mike Beebe, Democrat Searcy. It is not the intent of the law to allow mentally ill people to sit on a jury. There's more here, but I got to stop sentence by sentence. It's not the intent to allow mentally ill people to sit on a jury, but what if they end up there? It's okay, we didn't intend that. Oh, you don't think there's an intention to allow that when you say that mentally disabled people can sit on juries? Yeah, but that's not our intention. Well, then why did you say it? Well, it's sensitivity. What could it possibly be? Here's the next sentence. The law strives to give judges more leeway and responsibility in choosing jurors. Oh, so the judge is supposed to sit there and say, you're mentally disabled, you can serve. Depression is a mental disability, but depression may not necessarily keep a person from serving on a jury. Beebe said the new law doesn't list categories of mental illness in order to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Arkansas. Hey, Jim McDougal, by the way, has announced he's going to run for Congress from Arkansas because he wants to pick a fight with Republicans. It just came to my attention that McDougal has officially announced he's going to run against a guy, I think, named Dickey, a Republican named Dickey down there. Here is Carol in Naples, Florida. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Rush. Thanks for taking my call.
It's my pleasure.
I just wanted to say, as a stay-at-home mom, I'm normally in the company of like 2 to 6-year-olds daily, so it's nice daily to be able to listen to like 3 hours of conversation with an adult who has his finger on the pulse of what's going on out there.
Thank you.
And I appreciate, I'm a little nervous.
No need to be.
I appreciate that you highlight all the things that are going on out there, because there's an awful lot that really does need to be shown to the people and repeated.
Thank you.
A lot, so we don't just take it for granted and let them use it against us. You know, if they just keep showing it on and on and on like that,
Thank you.
We might just, I don't know, put up a idea that that's normal, and it isn't.
Well, I'm flattered that you listened. I'm glad you held on, get through to the program. It's very kind what you've said.
And can I say just one more thing?
Yeah.
I didn't mention this to Bo, but yesterday you were talking about smoking.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was a little disappointed in your answer about, as far as smoking and people around you, because I'm a non-smoker, and I do take offense to people who do smoke around me, and I think it's your right to smoke.
Yeah, but here, I got to cut you short because of time. You show me the conclusive scientific evidence that secondhand smoke is a medical, harmful thing to you, and I'll change my tune. Hey, I want to tell you about Equal Time. It's a live program on CNBC originating in Washington. It explores both political issues and the personalities that make the nation's capital tick or, on occasion, explode. It's hosted by Mary Madeline, Deputy Political Director of the Bush campaign, and her sidekick, journalist Jane Wallace. These two give you the inside scoop, and they're fun, they're fascinating, and they're female. They're info babes, and they're only on CNBC, home of the Talk All-Stars. Madeline and Wallace They'll say things that even make me blush, and I mean it. Check local listings for time and channel number.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
This is Wayne Alley. All tornado and severe weather watches for the area were canceled last night, but before they were canceled, Emergency Services Coordinator Joe Gurley of Wayne County said tornadoes were spotted in the Wallace and Beulahville area in neighboring Duplin County.
What did you understand happened at Beulahville and in Wallace?
Well, I'm not clear on touchdowns, what was destroyed. I did hear that one hog house was destroyed. Other than that, I'm not clear on any kind of damages.
I heard the same thing you did, that a hog house was probably damaged in Wallace.
Yeah, and in Beulahville, there's no actual, the phone clown's spotted, no actual damage to property, I understand. It's just that I think the high winds, tornadoes going through and clipping out treetops.
Wayne County Emergency Services Coordinator Joe Gurley. Investigator Kerry Winders was supposed to discuss crime and not politics and appearing before Wayne County Citizens for Better Tax Control last night, but one politically related question slipped through when Milas Kelly of the Waco Impact asked Winders how he as a citizen would handle the new jail. Winders suggested the new jail actually needs to be redesigned. The way it is now, Winders said, more staff will be needed to operate it. He suggested maybe one person could look after a floor, but design dictates that 2 staff members will be required per floor.
It's going to have to be staffed, there's no question about it. But I don't believe we're going to have to staff every floor. I believe that 130, and I've talked to some of the court people over there, and they seem to think that 130 inmates is all they have to put up with. Another way we can cut down on it so we can keep less population and not have to hire as many jailers is the ones that are ready to go to court, put them through, push them through, and let them go ahead and try them and get them through with.
Kerry Winders. Goldsboro Kiwanians were told by Tim Price of Goldsboro Hog Farms that they're doing everything possible to control odors until someone comes up with something to kill the odors. He described an animal waste lagoon that has a pink appearance upon approach as one in which bacteria are working properly. Price said the person who comes up with something to kill animal waste odor can write his own ticket. And Mount Olive Police Chief Emmett Ballry hopes to get autopsy results any day now in the case of shooting victim John Stacy Dillard. The weather forecast is next. For WGBR News, I'm Wayne Alley.
High pressure to our west has finally driven out the rains now, and we're in for a few days of much more tranquil weather. Our forecast for this afternoon, partly to mostly sunny. It'll be breezy and cool. We'll look for highs ranging 58 to 63 degrees, then mostly fair skies on tap for tonight. Lows dropping off to 35 to 40. And for Wednesday, partly cloudy and continued cool. We'll have light winds tomorrow and highs ranging 54 to 60. At the Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Mike Moss.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume.
Rush Limbaugh. Turning it way up, ladies and gentlemen, here on the EIB Network, coming to you direct from the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. Our next subject matter is that which many will probably find offensive, although it's not. Many of you... Okay, I've just been informed that Jimmy Johnson has resigned as coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Uh-oh, Snerdley's blowing in a gasket. You're a Cowboys fan. Right. Jimmy Johnson has resigned as... Well, that kind of blows something I was going to do. We were going to talk to Jimmy Johnson for our Father's Day issue of the Limbaugh Letter. And he may not have time to do it now. He's going to have other things like getting a job, which won't be hassle. He has to have gotten a pretty big deal here because I mean, he turned down a lot of jobs. The Jacksonville Jaguars wanted him, and they went out and hired somebody else after he said no. This is one of the strangest occurrences in sports I've ever heard of. I mean, generally it'd still be throwing a party. At most sports organizations, you win 2 Super Bowls in a row, the party's still going on. The head coach quits. Head coach forced out. Head coach fired. Interesting fact, do you know that for all this talk about Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones being best of friends, they've never ever been out to dinner together? That's what I've heard, my friends. I've heard that. Now, back to this subject matter. It is fascinating in a scientific sense. Many of you may find it a topic that you don't want to listen to. It involves sex. And maybe your children, it's spring break for a lot of people. If your kids are listening, you don't want them to hear it, fine. We'll give you 10 seconds to turn off your radio and come back in about 3 minutes. Go listen to another show and wonder what we're talking about. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your time is up.
If you're still here and are offended by what follows, tough. If you call and complain, nobody is going to listen because you've been warned. Story out of London. Women subconsciously control their sexual response to determine who fathers their babies and when, according to British researchers. Biologist Robin Baker and colleagues at Manchester University studied theories that women subconsciously but physically control reproduction by determining whose and how many sperm compete for an egg. Why, this story has attracted the attention of Kiki de la Garza. This is a fascinating story. It dovetails. I've always said women have the power. They do. Except the modern-day feminists who are trying to convince them they're nothing but victims, and it's one of the greatest sellouts in the history of the world. Women do this by timing their orgasms and by expelling excess sperm. The female definitely has the upper hand, said Baker, Robin Baker. In a telephone interview, she is making the subconscious judgment. Baker studied information from 35 couples who volunteered for an intimate study and used data from a poll of more than 3,500 women. They found that women tended to expel sperm from their partners when they were in a monogamous relationship. Baker said that his studies indicated this was because sperm are more likely to inseminate an egg if there are fewer of them in the woman's body. The women were able to control how many sperm remained in their bodies in part by controlling their orgasms. Orgasms that climaxed at any time between 1 minute before the male ejaculated up to 45 minutes after led to a high level of sperm retention, said Baker. Lack of climax, or a climax more than 1 minute before the male ejaculated, led to a low level of sperm retention. He said his findings indicated the woman, rather than the man, controlled the timing of orgasms. Oh, have I gotten into trouble on this one? I'm right about this. But if the woman was having a relationship, now this is where it gets interesting. If the woman was having a relationship with more than one man, the rules changed. She then kept more of the sperm from one man, evidently the one preferred as father. He said when sperm were competing with sperm from another man, it was to their advantage to be more numerous. During periods of infidelity, females changed their orgasm pattern. Baker wrote, they expelled sperm from the other men. Men had no way of telling whether they were the chosen father and thus produced as many sperm as possible, said Baker, who will publish a book on his findings later this year. It's a very flexible system that is very difficult for the male to interpret. Now, Baker said that his study didn't take into account whether the women were ovulating and thus likely to conceive, but he did say he was doing more research, and what he had discovered so far seemed to uphold the initial findings that women have the power via the orgasm to determine who and when a man will become the father. And that they don't know it. It's all subconscious. You women out there are subconsciously choosing the fathers of your children, subconsciously choosing when it's going to happen. The thing that intrigues me the most is when you've got sperm from more than one man competing. What does that say about the mother? But we don't want to delve too deeply into that aspect of this situation. It just happened to be mentioned there, but it's an obvious question to ask if you're a curious sort such as am I. I think, yeah, the thing to do here for you men, if you want to know whether your mate subconsciously wants you to be a father, time her orgasms and figure out where they come in relationship to yours. What do you mean you can't, Mr. Snerdley? Here comes the voice of expertise on these matters. What do you mean you can't Oh, I'm not gonna say that. I am not gonna say that. I am... Snerdley says you can't do it because the fine art of faking it has been developed so as to fool any man attempting to discover whether the woman's subconscious. Hey, I just watched Harry and Sally the other night, and there are no lies in that movie. All right. We're through now. We're through. If this is true, you do have to wonder about some women's subconscious. If you look at some of the guys they've married and have become fathers, you do have to wonder about it. Placerville, California. Pam, hello. I'm glad you called. Welcome to the EIB Network.
Thank you. Mega dittos from a lone conservative at times, it seems.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I know how you feel.
Out on the left coast. I have to agree with you on the self-righteous attitude that our present administration